So in previous campaigns, when we played on Emperor difficulty, we really didn't get to see those advanced technologies until turn like 550, sometimes even turn 600. But because we have so many really great powers, so many very sprawling empires, we have seen that stuff. We have seen things like atomic bombs and infantry and rocket artillery even by turn 400. And the reason that I'm discussing this is that I don't think we'll be going past turn 500. I know a lot of people wanted me to go to like 750 and things like that, but definitely the game has slowed down. There are things that I can do to maybe speed it up, and there's obviously things that I will be kind of doing over the break, pressing forward. But right now, my goal, like I said, for right now, my goal is just for sure getting us to turn 500. So we'll for sure get there, and then at that point, we will figure out what we'll do. We'll figure out what things are like, what performance things are going, or how performance things are going, and what kind of conflicts are going on, and everything else like that. So anyways, so Siam's doing pretty well so far. I think that they will more than likely take this city over, and obviously having the reinforcements from Korea is huge. The problem is actually Korea... Oh, so Poland grabbed back their city over the break. Russia took this city back for a second there, and actually they're going to have a few turns... Russia's going to take a few more turns before they can grab this city. Obviously, they're killing a lot of the Polish population inside of these Polish cities because that is the second straight time that that's happened, where Warsaw was taken and then recaptured back, and then obviously Russia has to take it back over. So same thing will probably happen. I don't know about to Hamburg, because after Salzburg falls, I don't think there's really going to be much left in Poland. I think it'll be pretty simple stuff. I think so for the most part. No wars are going to be popping up in this turn. It looks like. I'm pretty sure I've got this weird theory, almost this other, oh man, I mean, how many times have I said that? I've got all these weird theories. You guys probably think I'm like this mad scientist, this mad crack scientist or something like that. But I think that there are some turns where wars will not be declared depending on how this bar has me scroll. Like, it'll be down here, and then immediately when, like, you know, the notifications become too much, if it dramatically like shifts me up, and then it has me going from the top, you know, it's pushing me towards the top, then I think that those are the turns. Those turns will have peace deals. Those turns will have declarations of wars, and maybe something else like a spy notification or something like that. I'm willing to bet almost anything so far. We're not going to see any sort of diplomatic things on this turn because it didn't do that. It kept me down here towards the bottom. And all we see are denouncements. That's it. Maybe I'm crazy here, but I'm like really sure that is a thing. I'm like pretty sure. We'll see about that though. Ooh, the Congo. Now this is more than likely a reinforcement squad that I think is going out towards either one of their colonies out in the Indian Ocean, or possibly, yeah, maybe that's it. Wait, did the Congo ever settle Australia? They did not. No. They did not. Oh my gosh, we've got a huge Ashanti force here, though. The Ashanti, remember, are at war with Persia, remember? Oh, that's where they're going. And here's that Congo settler. So, I mean, there's still lots of, like, possibilities for one-city tiles. Oh my gosh, the Chinook bringing over a huge air force. Chinook obviously have not been successful at all with attacking Australia. It's been pretty lackluster for the most part. Indonesia really hasn't gone to war either, kind of staying out of the whole impact there, staying out of that whole game, which is, I think, a pretty smart choice for them. Just leave it be. But no, I'm very impressed with the way Siam has like defended against Darius. You know, having all of these, I think part of it, I mean, he's very, very lucky that Darius doesn't have that large fleet over here to attack Saigon. With that large fleet, which actually I think for the most part Persia's fleet has been destroyed. I mean, actually, no, it's very distracted. That's what it is. But they're having issues because they're trying to attack across this hill, and they're not going to be able to do that. They've got to, or across these multiple hills. So they're going to need to get towards the north. They're going to lose that melee unit very soon. Let's see if they lose it now. Well, they probably won't lose it now, but yeah, they're going to take a lot of damage right now. The Indonesians really looking for, it looks like they're kind of setting their sights on the north, though. I'd predict that they're setting their sights somewhat on the north. And yeah, like we thought. So Korea is doing something here. They're definitely doing something here. But they probably won't be able to reinforce like we thought. Again, these mountain tiles really is puts a huge barrier in between these two nations, as well as just the units themselves. The Siamese units themselves are making it very difficult for Korea to cross through this valley and help reinforce their ally. Now Tibet has open borders, or they're also at war with they can't be at war with Persia. There's no way. I think they must have open borders. And I think my theory was right. Look at that. It's the final processing, the final sieve, and nothing. Nothing in terms of notifications. I've been thinking that for a very long time, but this is the first time I actually just talked about it. I think I might be onto something. So, like, this is what I'm talking about here. We're going to see it either pop up towards us. It's either going to pop up towards the top, or it's not. If it pops up towards the top, then, like I said, we're going to get, like, 3 or 4 different things. I haven't, like, defined them super clearly just yet, but either spy notifications, peace deals, declarations of wars, or maybe, like, I don't know, World's Fair progress, something that actually means something. The denouncements, they don't mean anything. The research agreements or the declaration of friendships, they don't mean anything. That's why. So this is it. This is how we can tell. Dang, look at this. Persia just right here on the border. This is a very intense war. Lots of artillery weapons. Problem is, Persia has almost completely ran out of melee units. They do have their first bombers and their great war bombers and triplanes. These are very low units in terms of technology at this point in the game. At turn 408, especially when you have civs like Ethiopia and the Congo bordering you with paratroopers and I'm sure rocket artillery, right? Well, they've got mobile SAMs. I know that Korea has rocket artillery. Korea might be number 1. Is that anti-tank? Yeah, it is anti-tank. But yeah, just the paratroopers themselves. Those are all pretty big deals. I do want to see if the Ashanti are showing their hand with this navy. Not really. I don't think so. And off the top of my head, I don't believe the Ashanti are at war with anybody out here in the New World. I mean, I guess no. If they're at war with Great Britain, we'd see that right here. And is Great Britain really ready at the moment? Oh, look at this. Okay, so that maybe either the British could be thinking about an attack on Copenhagen or possibly Norway. Maybe. That's kind of what it's looking like off the coast of Amsterdam, because these guys really mobilized fast. I mean, they did not stick around off the coast of Iberia for very long. They just immediately headed up north. So maybe we will see a Scandinavian war, which is what the British absolutely need to do, and that's really all they can do. They could attack Greece, but the British have been very bad at building land units so far. I mean, they've got a few, but they're all scattered and they're not really ready. Rome's been very disappointing as of the last several hundred turns. Actually, maybe 250 turns. Ooh, let me see what Siam does. All right. So Persia's been kind of pushed out. I think they're starting to realize that they're running out of melee units. But then again, the Siamese are running out of units themselves, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Is that a pillage tile? That is a pillage tile, but we don't know if Persia did that or if Tibet did that. No, there's no way. If Siam was at war with Persia, I'm sorry, if Siam was at war with Tibet, then we would see health loss from these. Well, this one is. Oh, interesting. But then again, you have the city bombardment itself. You've got artillery. Maybe they destroyed a unit. Well, we'll find out. I actually don't know. I mean, there's no other reason why Tibet would be moving into this territory like that. Korea getting more and more kind of closer to the border. Kind of, they're actually just now starting to get in. Oh, maybe they're trying to reinforce here. Korea might swoop this up, actually, from the Siamese. There's no melee unit nearby, and the city's not coastal, so they can't just swoop in there. Indonesia would have a pretty good opportunity of swooping in there and taking that city, which actually would be kind of cool, kind of clean. Let's see what Russia did. Russia did not take Warsaw like we predicted. Oh, they are actually... Oh, my gosh. Man, Poland's still fighting very hard. I got to give it to them. Poland still fighting extremely hard. But Russia is I think they're a manufactured powerhouse at this point here. Still pumping out units. Atomic bomb. I'm surprised they haven't nuked them yet. That's kind of a miracle that the AI has... Well, you know what? I bet you the AI is very worried about someone caught in the crossfire. Somebody, I think that's The AI is very good at not accidentally nuking somebody. The human players, I think I've done that like, oh my gosh, like at least 10 times where I accidentally nuke somebody else. That sucks. And then you get, that shouldn't be a thing. Well, actually, it's kind of interesting. Maybe it should be a thing. It seems like a kind of a real world scenario. You drop a nuke on somebody, and maybe there's a bunch of civilians, tourism. Civilians. Oh, that would be interesting. You nuke a city with a bunch of tourism. Civ 6 ideas. Hashtag 66 ideas. You nuke a city with a bunch of tourism, and maybe that city, like some of the civs that are influential with the civ that just got nuked, or vice versa. Yeah, the civ that got nuked is influential with other civs. Those civs join in. That kind of seems like an understandable scenario. I like that idea. Hashtag Civ 6 ideas. Okay. Yeah, but and I also just noticed right now that Korea is still stuck behind in the Korean Sea. So Japan has still kind of locked them off for the most part. Where is Korea trading with? Oh, Korea's trading with the Champa. That explains why they're not going after this Champa capital. Look how much population this lost. The Vietnamese really starved the crap out of this city. And obviously they pillaged all the tiles, so it's never really been the same after that. Yeah, Indonesia kind of stuck here. Not really able to do much of anything else. And the Australians have done a great job so far of stopping the Chinook. Now, excuse me, the Chinook have a few more troops still coming. And actually, they're bringing over an air force. So they're not going to stop. Jeez, wait a second. So the Ethiopians are at war with the Shoshone, right? I think they are at war with the Shoshone. Oh, man. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Because I'm seeing a lot of privateers. Actually, I mean, there's frigates behind them. But I'm seeing a pretty good opportunity that Ethiopia might make a landing on North America. That's a pretty likely scenario. Okay, wait a second. I can't tell if they pushed us up or if I scrolled up. But I think if it was me scrolling up, then we don't. Then we're not going to see any interesting notifications in this turn here. Argentina also trying to reinforce. Argentina. Oh, they do have some coastal cities. I was going to say, I can't really tell who'd have a stronger navy. It seems like both of them don't really care too much about building any sort of naval forces. Inca still with no atomic bombs, which is kind of a big deal. No atomic bombs here, and then we have Texas just chilling. Who also desperately needs atomic bombs. And I just can't believe the Iroquois are even still around. It's actually very weird to me that the Sioux, if you look at the processing of turns and how long each civ takes, it's the Conga that's taking the longest, that's not super surprising because they've got the biggest military in the world, but it's still interesting to see that the Sioux don't take very long. The Sioux aren't taking that long. Obviously, the Champa aren't taking anything. Okay, I do want to see what the Ashanti are going to do here. If they're at war, you know what? The Ashanti still have the opportunity of doing their own conquest of the New World and taking over these. I mean, Chile's actually doing pretty well in technology. I will say that. I'll give them that. They're a great war infantry, and that's relative to things. That is very relative. But for their size, they're doing pretty well. Oh, and they were at war, but they decided to peace out. Okay, well there you go. So then I did not scroll up because the game is pushing me up. You see, I can see right there all those denouncements push me up towards the top. So that was the only peace deal. So technically that would be enough. I feel like a crazy person talking about this, but because it's such a small detail, but maybe it's interesting. Maybe some people will find it interesting. Also, I was wrong about this. Mongolia is not at war with Persia, but they do have open borders with Persia. So this is just a second force trying to attack more territory here. And so, that's kind of all we're seeing for the most part. Oh, man, I really want to see what the Ethiopians are going to do. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if they are at war with the Shoshone. I can find out, but I don't really want to because that's a waste of time. But I can find out over the break. I might find out over the break. But I'm pretty sure that they are. So that would be really interesting. World's Fair progress? Okay, well, I didn't see that, so that's okay. France has denounced Norway. It sounds like France is just denouncing everybody at this point. Here's a very large Incan force. But what are the Inca trying to do? Oh, they might be trying to go towards Siberia for reinforcements. Because, remember, the Inca have a pretty strong foothold here. Tied with the Chinook, but obviously I think the Inca can deal with the Chinook. Even though the Chinook are closer to reinforce. A lot closer to be able to reinforce. Alright, so Russia still can't do anything here in their attack against Poland. They still would need to... They would still need to get a melee unit in nearby. They also still need to work this uranium because they haven't done that yet either. But this infantry unit can maybe get the job done. Obviously, the rocket artillery will be helpful. But Poland's going to continue to really destroy a lot of Russian units because you're talking about artillery weapons on the front lines. Probably not the best of bets. Oh, they kind of retreated, so that's good. Well, they embarked some of them, which embarking is not much better. But Poland doesn't have much of a fleet. That's the biggest thing Poland should have done in this campaign. So obviously, Poland's civ is done. My dark horse choice is over. But they really needed to build way more ships out here. They absolutely needed to build more ships. So that's probably part of the problem, and they couldn't have done that because Warsaw was puppeted. Hamburg was puppeted, so they needed to annex this puppet. They only had 4 cities in the first place, so they should have annexed it either way. Wow, Sweden and Denmark finally piecing out. Oh my goodness, and Sweden just pieced Denmark out for a city. Oh man, well that finally changes the look of things in Scandinavia. First time we've seen that in a while, except for, obviously Rhodes being captured, but looks like the Novgorod Greek War is, for the most part, over. They might have pieced out. I'm not sure. We might see more notifications. Obviously, we're being pushed up towards the top. So, yeah, I think maybe we'll see somebody like Norway finally decide to go after Sigtuna, or maybe Novgorod. Okay, so here's Ethiopian's turn. I want to see Ethiopia's turn. Maybe not. What is that? What are they doing? They don't have any colonies over here, so I'm not exactly sure. Let's see how much damage Poland does. Back to the Russian army. Not that much. They might be a little bit distracted by the embarking. Great Britain's finally pieced out with Byzantium. That was a very long war. They went to war like very long time ago, and they stole this city away, Ireland. They captured that city back. St. John, Quebec City, not really very reinforced by the British at all. Okay, so we've also been kind of theorizing what the British are doing with this force in the North Sea. I'm not sure. Let's see what they do. Are they going to sit there? No, they're moving away from the North Sea now, so maybe that will not be the scenario. Or maybe they want to attack France. Let me check in on Australia. We've got the Ashanti kind of off the coast here. But they're not the cause of this blockade. The Chinook are actually the cause of the blockade. The Ashanti are going after Persia, because I believe that war is still going on. So we might see Persia lose even more cities out here. It's very interesting. Maybe Persia's been kind of teeter-tottering. They haven't necessarily been, even though they've been growing in strength and growing in more like land. Oh my gosh, they're actually close to taking this over. This is interesting. I don't know. This is I like this part in the world. Too bad the Tibet pieced out, but it's still kind of interesting to watch this part in the world. But like I said, the Persians, even though they're grabbing more land, it's like they're losing stuff out here in the Pacific, so they're still losing strength. I mean, they might lose this city too. Whatever. I think they're actually going to lose to Korea, I think. But anyways, guys, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.